Hello and welcome to the Money Queen podcast. I am Alex Unscripted, the Money Queen. I am here to unite the masculine and feminine energetics of money and invite you in joining me to break the stigma of we don't talk about money here. I will deliver the loving bitch slaps that you need in your business to elevate you as a leader and support you to that next level and welcoming in the wealthiest version of yourself. With over 13 years in the accounting and bookkeeping industry, I utilize the support of the masculine in systems, structure, support, and ATO compliance, combined with the feminine of the energetics of mentoring, guiding, getting really curious, and allowing ourselves to be open to receiving and holding space for queens like yourself who are committed to forming a healthy relationship with money. So hit that subscribe button, leave me a rating, and I cannot wait to have you by my side as we raise the feminine collective and create true generational wealth and change. Welcome to the very first episode of the Money Queen podcast. I'm so freaking excited to fucking have you here. I am going to have some swearing in this episode because, well, that's just me. If you've not been in my space, welcome. Glad to have you here. This first episode, I'm going to give you a bit of a taste of who I am, where I have come from, and why the fuck you should actually listen to anything that I have to say. So let's jump straight in. I actually am going to be super raw and real and honest with you in this. I started with a new coach a couple of weeks back, and the first thing that he said to me was, the way that you survived in your younger years was you present as an orphan. And I was like, what? Actually, that makes sense. So that's how it starts. Yep. Totally not even on my notes, but here we go, right? So that's how I started as a child. I was challenged. There were so many situations in life where I was like, I don't fit in here. Where do I fit in? Safety wasn't a huge part of my experience. And, you know, I've built up barriers, built up walls, built up whatever I needed to get through every moment. And the pivotal moments in my life, you know, really emphasized, I think, that orphan vibe of what's happening externally to me and what do I need to do to move through this situation. So with that, my first pivotal moment of my life of where I actually took my life by the fucking balls and I was like, society is telling me to do X, Y, and Z, but that doesn't sit with me. I don't want to do that. Was when I left school at the age of 16. Now, to give some context, this was, I don't know how long ago. It was back in an era where you had to do the HSC in order to do anything, to be anyone, to be successful. And my mother is quite studious. Education is a high value of hers. So for her youngest child to be like, I don't want to do my HSC, it was out of this world. So I had to move through that story, that belief, her pressure on me to do the HSC, even when I didn't want to do it, and stand up for my truth to my parents. Scary thing to do at 16, right? But I did it because I was like, I do not want to spend the next 2 years of my life doing subjects that I don't even enjoy. The only subject that I liked doing that I wanted to do was commerce. And every other subject, I was like, I guess I'm forced to do this. That's not the experience that I wanted to have. Therefore, I connected with my truth. I brought up the courage within me to actually have that conversation with my parents, knowing their beliefs and knowing that that was going to break that and challenge them. And I stood up for what I fucking wanted and I got it. So what actually happened as the result of me standing in my power, standing in my truth and asking for what I fucking wanted was the next 2 years of my life, I went to McDonald's and I worked full time. I fucking loved it there. I loved the fast pace of it. I loved being with the other outliers there who were meant to be in school, but they chose McDonald's, or people who were at university doing something that they loved and this was their part-time gig. They were doing things in their life that they actually wanted to be doing, as opposed to everyone else who was still in school and was just like, this is what we have to do. No, it fucking isn't, right? No, it isn't. I wanted to do what I want to do, and that's where the people were that were doing the same thing as me. So I actually felt like I fitted in there. And on a personal note, right, that's a careers career note, on a personal note, what actually happened in those next 2 years was I didn't realize that my dad was actually going to pass in 2 years after that decision. So I got to spend the last 2 years of my life building a beautiful relationship with him, having more moments with him. He was working shift work, so was I. He taught me to drive in those couple of years and really created some beautiful, beautiful memories with him. And, you know, in his passing, it was literally overnight, 36 hours, he had a heart attack and my world was fucking rocked. So if I did not stand up for my truth, stand up for what I fucking wanted in the decision to leave school, I would have actually fucked up my HSC in any case, because when he passed, it was 25th of July. My exams would have been like the September, October. So that would have completely stuffed up my HSC plans and my results. So the decision to stand up for what I actually fucking wanted was such a powerful catalyst move for my life, to be like, hey, this is the outcome when you actually lean into that courage. When you actually lean into, well, why am I doing this? Just because my parents say that I have to, or I need to, or here are some darker, consequences of not doing HSC. You're not going to be anyone. Like, fuck you. Who are you to tell me that I'm not going to turn into anyone? And I remember my boyfriend at the time, his mother was in business and she looked down on me so much. And I was like, you know what? Fuck you. This moment of sitting across the dining table in a penthouse in Sydney overlooking the Harbour Bridge in her living room, I was like, fuck you. I'm going to prove you wrong. There is so much more to me than what you're seeing right now and the label that you are putting on me, because I'm a 16 going on 17-year-old woman choosing McDonald's over a HSC. I have the drive, I have the desire to be something in this world, and this choice is the start of that. And my word, was at the fucking start. Had a bit of a fucking re-look at my life, and I was like, what do I actually want to do with my world, right? Started a commerce degree, did that, and was an accountant for 4.5 years. Then I did management accounting for 4 years and tax accounting for 6 months. Needless to say, I didn't love the tax accounting. And then I saw an opportunity in the market for a accountant qualified bookkeeper, because when I was receiving when I was receiving the accounting work from my clients, when I was working in as an accountant, I would spend a lot of my budget redoing the bookkeeping work. I'm like, this just doesn't make sense, right? So I saw an opportunity to create a bookkeeping company with an accountant led that knows the quality, that knows what's happening. The clients didn't even know that they were paying for a bookkeeper and getting subpar outcomes. So I was educating the clients. I was creating something different in the accounting industry. And I had only just turned 25 at this stage. And it is a heavily male-dominated industry. So I was bucking all of the fucking trends by creating this company and being like, yeah, I've got the skills, the knowledge, the expertise to do this thing. Why the fuck not? All right. So I literally waited for an investment property to settle and I resigned the next day because I backed myself. And worst case scenario wasn't even a worst case scenario, because I'm like, I'm such an employable person. I can just get another job. So there really wasn't a risk for me in starting a business and just seeing where it went. And where it went was, after 6 years, a extremely profitable, extremely successful in society's eyes business. It handed me so many challenges, so many opportunities for growth, so many, beautiful connections that allowed me to grow and develop in those 6 years. And it's a part of my life. It's created me partly to the business owner that I am today, for the challenges and for the achievements that happened, the ups and the downs equally. So every milestone with that business that I had set when I started the business, I ticked off. And literally the last milestone was achieved on 30 June 2020 in the amount of revenue that was generated in that business in 1 year, in 12 months. And I'm not going to tell you what exact number it is, but it's got a lot of bloody zeros on the end. And when I reached it, I looked at the figures and it was only over it by, about $1,000. And I was like, I still feel empty. I thought this would feel different. And in that moment, it really solidified for me that I was like, actually, I get to leave. I get to choose something different. This business and who I am becoming and the people that are around me right now, my environment, is actually not for my highest good. And I desire something different. And again, like when I was in high school, I'm like, what am I doing here? Am I just staying in this business just because I created it? It doesn't mean that I can't leave, right? And I truly believe that, I birthed the business. I took it to primary school. It was ready to go to high school. And I wasn't the person to take it there. If I'd have stayed with that business and with that company, I would have been a hindrance in its growth because I wanted to keep it small. I wanted to keep its roots, keep it connected to its roots. So for me to actually leave that business was best for the business. And it was also, most importantly, best for me because I was feeling constricted. I was feeling constricted and scripted, and I lost my own freedom. I lost my voice, right? And freedom is one of my highest values. And I didn't feel that anymore. I felt constriction more often than freedom. So it was my time to leave. So, and again, that's another thing that society put on me. And as soon as I told people around me, they were like, what? I don't understand. This is a thriving business. It's growing exponentially every single year. Why are you leaving? Like, are you crazy? No, I'm not fucking crazy. I'm just connected with my truth. Are you not? Right? What are you doing with your world? That you see what I'm doing is so outrageous. Being in the permission slip for them to choose something outrageous to them. Right? So I started it and then I left it. And that has gotten me to now. As part of that exit and life change, because I truly did not know what I wanted to do when I left that business. I was living in Newcastle at the time. That's 2 hours out of Sydney, a beautiful city that has so many beaches, such a beautiful place to grow up. But again, I was feeling constricted there because I didn't know what my next phase of life looked like, and I didn't want to be constricted by the people there, the environment there, the opportunities that were there. I wanted something more. I wanted something different. I wanted a place to actually expand my wings, whatever that looked like. And I did not feel I could do that there. So I moved to sunny Queensland and Brisbane, and I fucking love it here. It has been such a beautiful, expansive place for me to step outside of my comfort zone, move away from my family, move away from everything that I've known in terms of my environment and my situation and, what can be created in your life, to literally start from scratch. I had a handful of friends when I moved here, and that was just enough of a safety zone for me to be like, yeah, this is still a stretch for me, but it's also wildly outside of my comfort zone. And I'm a huge advocate for Brisbane. So if anyone wants to move to Brisbane, hit your gal up because I'll talk your ear off and I will probably convince you to move here. And, as part of that move, I took a year off from working and really got clear on, what trauma I had just been through in the exit process of that business, what was now true for me and where I wanted to move forward into in the next phase of my life and business. And what does that look like? That looks like this. This looks like the money queen. That is when she has been birthed. And, I'm really now embracing all of my gifts, all of my, expanded way of living in a really fucking supported way, because what I'm utilizing now is the, past technical background of mine and of the masculine in my, ATO compliance, the accounting and bookkeeping industry, that career, and now utilizing that with the feminine flow of mentoring and coaching and guiding women, other business women like myself, to really stabilize and use all of our body, all of our being, the masculine and the feminine, to create this beautiful fucking business where I can support you in mentoring and I can also support you in the actual systems, processes, structure. So it's the yin to the yang, and it's creating a really solid offering. and place in my heart even to be like, this is what I'm fucking here for. That was what that was for. All of, that bookkeeping and accounting knowledge and expertise and time that I invested in that and going to university and getting the degree and doing the accounting, having the bookkeeping company for 6 years, to then lean into my feminine flow now that I'm in Brisbane and intentionally choosing to live in my feminine and allow myself to receive that feminine. That is where my fucking magic is. That is where I've really stepped into my own. And like, if you met me 6 months ago, even to now, like, I'm a completely different fucking person because I'm constantly challenging myself and stepping into that more feminine flow. And how can I release that masculine? I lived for 31 fucking years in my masculine, partly because of when my dad passed. I put this pressure on myself of I need to be the masculine head of the house now because I got all of my genes from my dad. I was most similar to my dad. I was the leader in my family like he was, and then he left. And so it was like, you have to be that person. That was a story that I put onto myself. And even from a physical point of view, I was the first person to leave the hospital before he passed. And the minutes after I got onto the driveway back into my family home, we got the phone call to say that he had passed. So the story that I placed on myself was he was literally waiting for me to get home so that I could protect the family, so that I could take over the reins of the family and protect them and provide for them. And that story, you can see I'm still getting emotional over it. That story ruled my life until I was 31, until I moved to Brisbane, until I sold out of that last company. And I was like, actually, there's a different way of living. How can I actually lean into my feminine now and allow others to support me as opposed to me being the pillar for everyone else? Yeah, breather. If you are listening to this episode and are picking up what I'm putting down and are ready to unpack and elevate your money story, then pop over to my website and see the money coaching package that is calling your name. Find out for yourself why I have been called the money queen that everyone needs in their life. After working with me, my clients are reclaiming their power in their business, and this has seen them bring hundreds of thousands of dollars into their businesses after having me on board their team. Are you ready to expand? Then let's fucking go, queen. Book in a call with me on my website, which is alexunscripted.com, to show the universe that you are here for everything that you fucking desire and you are taking action. In my move to Brisbane, I have been crazy intentional around the women that I want to have in my world, the people that I'm choosing to surround myself with, and the woman that I am stepping forward into. I've just created, in combination with one of my business besties, a networking group here, and the conversations that are happening, the people that are coming, the vulnerability that is being shared in these coffee connections is fucking magnificent and magnetic. And I'm like, how does this get to be my reality? Because I fucking choose it. Because I fucking choose it, right? And you get to have that too, right? I am literally the permission slip for you to do what you desire, to lean into your desires, to say yes to your fucking yes. Because if I did not say yes to my yes, if I did not challenge the status quo, if I did not stand up to my parents, if I did not sell out of a thriving fucking business, I would not be here today. I am working less and I am earning more and I am so much more fucking fulfilled because I said yes to my yes, because I got clear on what my truth is. Because I was intentional about the environment that I wanted to now place myself in. Because I was aware that I had been operating the masculine up until this move, and now I wanted to experience the feminine. I want support in my world, and it's actually safe for me to ask for that and to receive that. And I'm still that's a work in progress. I'm still learning that. And I'm still learning how safe it can feel to be supported in business, and especially by the feminine. I'm still learning. So, now, what does the future look like? The future of the next 12 months of my life looks like, and I said this the other day in a masterclass series that I had in my Facebook page, Her Way of Living on Facebook. If you're not joined already, go and jump on there. And I claimed I'm going to do a national tour around Australia and go to every capital city and present to at least 20 women around money, around starting the conversations around money, around starting the conversations around what does the wealthiest version of you look like? What beliefs do you have around money? What expectations do you have around money? What relationship do you have around it? And how can we shift that to actually start having a healthy relationship with money? So that is the next goal of mine, to create that, to connect with women, to promote that, and to actually have that national fucking tour by this time next year. So if that is a thing for you, if you're like, oh yeah, I'd love to see her live, after you've listened to a couple of my episodes, send me a DM and be like, fuck yes, Al, I cannot wait to have you in my capital city. Tell me where you are. And it's going to happen. It's going to fucking happen. Right? And then with this work that I do, it is literally empowering every one of you listening right now to step into the wealthiest version of yourself by me going first, by me sharing my wisdom, my guidance, my tips and tricks of how I've created the life that I fucking desire, that I did desire, and now that I fucking love, right? You can have this too. The next thing I want to talk about is why Alex Unscripted, the name of my business now. Where that came from is in my old life, I used to live in a world that was so constricting. It was so scripted. And especially in the language that was being used. People around me at the time was, a strong focus on language and not trying to offend anyone, allowing yourself to, or not allowing, or being super mindful of pissing people off, essentially. And it got to a stage where, and language is absolutely, it's critical. And scripted language has its place, but for the relationship that I had with it, it was controlling me. Sometimes it would take me like an hour to write a fucking email, and I'm like, what? How can I not just pick up the phone and have a fucking conversation and be myself? I had lost who I was because I was so fucking scripted. So when I created this business, when I made the physical move to Brisbane, I was like, I want to be unscripted. I want to be felt for my authentic self. I want to be known for my authentic voice, my unfiltered voice, my unscripted voice. I want to be the permission slip for other women to know what it's like to be able to speak their truth and not to be shunned and not to be sent to the back of the corner, not to be like, don't speak up, your voice is not welcomed here. So that's what I'm now creating. So that's where Alex Unscripted came from. Literally being the permission slip for myself to show up as my true authentic self so that you can have an example of that and you can do that too. The last thing that I wanted to cover off in this launching episode was what are my intentions for this podcast, because there are so many podcasts out in this world, and I sat on this to be fully transparent with you for the last 6 months of there's so many podcasts out there, who am I to start another one, no one will listen, rah rah rah, all the fucking stories. But I allowed myself to fucking push through that. I allowed myself to receive the support of people around me and to have courage in my voice, to have trust and faith that my message gets to be fucking delivered. You're the person listening to this right now. You're welcome, right? So the intention is to be unscripted. It is to have minimal editing. It is to allow the conversation to flow wherever it gets to. It's allowing the masculine and the feminine to be here in this experience, right? The masculine is the planning of it. I've got a couple of notes here, right? Minimal notes. And then so that when I'm sitting here and I'm engaging with you and I'm having this fucking conversation with you in your little earbuds, I hope you're having a walk. And I hope if you are going for a walk, you're by a river or a body of water, because I fucking love that. Anywho, I'm looking at the mountains right now. I can see them right here. If you're watching YouTube, because this is on YouTube. If you didn't know, now you do. And it's beautiful, right? I hope you're in a beautiful place whilst listening to this. And yeah, because I've got that masculine structure in the planning stages, now when I am actually recording, I can be in my feminine. So again, you're going to hear this a lot in my language and communication. Where is my masculine at? Where is my feminine at? Because without one, there is an imbalance in the other. I'm going to have weekly episodes landing on Monday morning. I'm going to aim for at least around 20 minutes. Sometimes, I'm going to go over the 20 minutes because I'm super fucking passionate about money, about starting conversations and, connecting with the wealthiest version of yourself, whatever that fucking looks like. And sharing honestly and rawly and openly what my journey looks like, the challenges that I face in business, and who I am becoming today. Because I'm not perfect, neither are you. And I hope to inspire every woman listening right now. And then in terms of what content is coming, I'm going to do some solo episodes for July and August. From August and September, I'm going to be starting to introduce some guests who have supported me on my journey in getting here today. Because without them, I'd be a different person. So that you get to experience them as well. So, in closing out this first freaking episode, thank you so much for listening, for allowing me to be in your ears right now and to hearing my story and my journey. I invite you to seek discomfort. Shit, how the heck did I not say that? My ethos is to seek discomfort. If you are watching on YouTube, you'll see this little necklace here and it's got a little lightning bolt. That is a reminder to me to seek discomfort. My old ethos was your comfort zone is a beautiful place, but nothing ever grows there. And then I heard about this company called Yes Theory. They're a YouTube channel. Go and watch them if you haven't, you're welcome. And their ethos is to seek discomfort. And I'm like, oof, that's actually me. That's what I'm doing. But you've just packaged it up in a really beautiful and easy way. So that's now my upgraded ethos, to seek discomfort. And that's essentially what I've been doing my entire life without realizing it. In leaving school, in starting a company when I was 25, in leaving that thriving business when I was 30, in moving to Brisbane, in creating this fucking podcast, right? So I invite you to seek discomfort, to listening to more of these episodes. You are going to get loving bitch slaps. It is going to be uncomfortable, but can you lean into that discomfort? Can you say yes to your yes? And can you bring that power back into yourself and start that journey of building a healthy relationship with money? It literally all starts with you and starts with the action that you take. Thank you, Queen, for saying yes to your yes in listening to this episode and being a part of raising the feminine collective one conversation at a time. Remember to share this episode with your business besties and join me in breaking the tabooness around having money conversations. As always, if you have enjoyed this episode, please rate, subscribe, and share this on your social media, remembering to tag me in it to help this conversation go further, which creates a bigger ripple effect.